It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. I think they've all improved in a bunch of different ways. I think they've shown the ability to learn, too, which is very exciting. You know, sometimes it takes a while for things to be taken from the practice floor and actually implemented in games with success. And I think the three guys you mentioned, all of us have to dig in and chip away at the same things every single day. And that's, you know, you hear coaches talk about that a lot. You know, hey, we have to hammer on these things over and over again, but it's not lost on me that for the players, sometimes that monotony can be frustrating. Like, oh, man, I'm working on the same thing over and over and over again. But for it to become a habit that you go to when you're tired and you're going full speed and you're in the middle of the game and you're not necessarily actively thinking, it's more like you're going on recall and instinct, takes a lot of reps.
Reps. The only reps I want to see when these final 9 games is losses in the final 10. Because last night was 72nd game, and boy, did they suck. Way to go, guys. I was nervous. Riley Jensen sitting in for what's-his-face, and I thought, so funny.
Wow.
What?
What's his face?
Hey, man, if you're not here, you're not here, man. You know? I got to go with the guys who come ready to play. Washington, I was nervous that the Jazz may win this, but, man, they got blown out. Yeah, but that phenomenal fourth quarter run, man, they tried hard, gave them something to talk about, and that's good. But other than that, they got a big old beating, 133-110. It's exactly what they need. Yeah, playing a bunch of dudes that no point in paying attention to them. They're not going to be around. But they're living a dream, getting to play in the NBA. Ace Bailey, 1 for 6 from three. All right, he went 7 for 10 the game before. So what's that? If you're 1 for 6 and 7 for 10, add that up. What's that combined? Come on. So 1 plus
16.
8 for, so that's 50%. Take that over any 2-game span. And he had the big dunk, reverse dunk. Boy, he sure has a lot of athletic ability. They get beat, and that's good news because they got to keep that pick, man. And I think this year they are going to get lucky, and they're going to move up, not move down like normally happens.
The Jazz aren't going to get the first pick.
They don't need the first pick.
All right.
They just, top 3 will be good enough. They're going to move up. They're going to move up, and they're going to be good next year. That's what matters the most. So we'll get to that. The Jazz lose. Cody Williams, 24 points, 11 of 20. Way to go, Cody. See if he can work his way into the rotation next year. Somebody named Julian Reese had 26 points and 17 rebounds. And I got to confess, I'm not a freak with the NBA. And Julian Reese, no clue who Julian Reese is. Found out that he went to Maryland. And he's 6'9", 252 pounds, only 22 years old. So maybe he can be a player for Washington because you need to develop young guys. That's the way this league works and have them grow into be veterans, and away you go. And he looked really good. Now the Jazz, they're off today, and they go to Denver. So they got Denver and Phoenix Friday and Saturday on the road. And hopefully for them and their ability to keep that pick is that they lose 2 games. All right, let's move on to the NBA.
Hashtag NBA.
Murray has it at the point, guarded by P.J. Washington, and a 3. Got it! Oh, my goodness! Jamal Murray's got 51 in the game. Denver leads it by the Ocho, 136-128. Murray has it at the point. He goes to the right hand, takes a jumper. Yeah! 52 for Jamal Murray. LFG.
Shot clock down to 8. Off the TJ screen. Now Randall with it. 5 to shoot. Julius on a run. Shoves off. Frees himself. 14-footer's good. Timberwolves take the lead 110-108. A 15-0 Minnesota run. Unbelievable.
There's some of the highlights in the NBA. Jamal Murray on his 52nd point. What is LFG, Yock? I don't understand that.
Let's bleeping go.
No way.
Let's freaking go.
Fetching, freaking.
Come on.
Can't have that.
Clean it up, Jake.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh.
Jamal Murray finished with
bleep go.
53 points. 9 of
The
14.
guy sure scores a lot of 50-point games for never really being an all-star.
He was an all-star this past year, I think, for the first time.
But it's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he got his due. It seemed like most of the attention, if not all the attention on that team, goes to Nikola Jokic, or Nikola. I call him Nikola.
How are his horses?
Oh, they're doing well, I guess.
Really?
He should have enough money to buy the best. He had, what did he have? 23 points, 21 rebounds, 19 assists. Man, I had an argument. This guy works for ESPN that I've known. I worked for him in California. Now he's a big shot at ESPN. He's on the TV, and he writes for the what's that place? It's called Enscape.
Yeah, Landscape. Yeah, it's one of their subsidiary
We've had him
sites.
on the show. His name's Jason Reed. Big basketball guy, right? He grew up in New York, and he found his way out to California when I was there. He was a part-timer going to USC. And we'd have these basketball arguments just raging during the winter, right? Because he knew basketball, and we all played. We had a fantasy basketball league, and your team, how well it did in the standings, determined your self-worth as a human being.
Right.
And so we would do this thing. It would be a nightly occurrence. We'd go get something to eat around 6 and come back. And by the time we come back, the East Coast games would be over, right? So we'd just log on to the computers at work and start looking at the box scores to see how our guys did. So we would get in these raging arguments. And I told him, this was when Jokic was in the league, best passing big man ever. And he argued with me, right? And he's going, Walton and Sabonis. And I said, no, Jokic is better. He's better than both of them. And we were arguing. We were texting each other because he lives back in Washington, D.C. now. And later on, the next day, Doc Rivers came out, best passing big man ever. And I cut that quote and sent it to him. And I got the victory. And for us, as we spent our younger years arguing incessantly about stupid NBA things, I felt like I got one over him. And I do think that Jokic is the best passing big man. 19 assists. I mean, that's pretty doggone impressive. For a center, no less. I mean, for anybody.
I think the thing that's crazy about Jokic is just you'll watch him play and you're like, he had an okay game. And then it's 23 points, 21 rebounds, 19 assists.
I know.
You're like, wait a minute, that's not pretty good.
That's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is awesome. And yeah, what was it? 2 days ago, Yak, you and I were talking about all the scoring in the NBA. And it happened again, man.
Yeah, team's going off.
I don't understand what's going on. You got the Sixers, 157 points.
There's a lot of talent in the league, and that's why we're probably going to add 2 more teams.
And they beat the Bulls. Bulls scored 137 and lose by 20. My goodness. Joel Embiid, my guy Joel, 36 points. Wow. What is it? They're going to call him the Bear because he sleeps most of the winter.
Not wrong.
Right. When he plays, he's really good. He just doesn't play very much. And then you heard that other highlight. I was watching that game last night. The Timberwolves down by, what were they down by? 13?
They were down 13,
13 and then
15-0
go to a
run.
15-0 run. Yeah. This is the largest, obviously overtimes are 5 minutes. That is the largest deficit in an overtime, and they win. They beat the freaking Houston Rockets 110 to 109. I mean, sort of a meaningless game as we wind down the season, but it was something to, at least it was entertaining. I got to give them that. It was entertaining, and they played without what's that hot shot thing? What's that hot shot guy for Minnesota?
Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards. As they call him. He didn't even play. He was out. So they won. And there you go. If you want to know what the standings are, well, get out your phone and look at them. There you go. I guess maybe on Monday we'll get back to the standings. Let's see. Other things in the NBA. I guess our guy Adam Silver he was talking yesterday that he made it clear that they're going to fix tanking. It's the top priority. There will be fundamental changes to the league's draft styles next year to prevent it happening. Well, that's great, but it's not going to prevent it. I mean, and I listened to him talk, and he was talking about, that 65-game deal. Load management was where it's at, and that responded, and he has to sell it. These guys are essentially selling it because they're trying to make as much money as possible. Everything points to money. That's the entire reason why he exists and why he tries to put the best face forward at all times to make as much money as they possibly can for the owners. That's the way this thing works. And so tanking has escalated this supposed strong draft class. And now we've got the lottery and the Jazz were a classic example. I think last night was the best example of tanking that I have seen ever with the lineup that they put out there and how they just rolled over and played dead. But they had that great fourth quarter rally. That was very impressive. Couldn't imagine sitting through that. But nevertheless, I support what they're doing because tanking means you're trying to win because you're trying to get the best players possible in the draft. And odds-wise say the higher you draft, the better chance you get. It doesn't always work out that way. Jokic being the perfect example. He's probably the best player in the league, and he was a second-rounder. So, Silver, I want to see what they can do. I have no idea what they're going to come up with. So let's see what they do, and then we can go from there. And then the expansion. Looks like it's going to be the Explore Bids, but it's going to be exclusively Vegas and Seattle. Away you go. And they're going to be teams, and they'll get $7 to $10 billion. Wow, for each team. And they could play in, I assume you mean the 2029-30 season here. So that's still 4 seasons away or 3 seasons, whatever it is. And so away we go. Some people say there's not enough talent. But whatever. Make that kind of money, go ahead and do it. All right, college basketball. We got games tonight.
Hashtag college basketball.
The Sweet 16. Yeah, looking forward to it. You into college basketball at this point, Riley?
Yeah, I still like to watch it.
Yeah, Sweet 16 should be fun. You got Texas and Purdue. Texas still playing the play-in game. They're still going strong. Iowa, Nebraska, Arkansas, Arizona. I'm going to call it right now. Arkansas with the big upset. Illinois and Houston. And that game's in Houston. Now, we've got all the tournament action right here on the Zone. 1280, but just 1280, not 97.5, right? Because we got the hockey. That's the way that works, Jacques. And we'll see who is going to get the Carolina job. Tommy Lloyd's name's been out there.
Michael Jordan flew in.
He did?
I saw that they saw his Airstream or whatever his private jet's name is.
You gonna have a say in it?
I don't know. People were actually saying he was interviewing for the job. I'm like, come on. That never works. Those guys, they got plenty of money. Those big. I get probably what the biggest name coach in the NBA who was the best player. Put Larry Bird. He said he was going to do it for 3 seasons, and he did it for 3 seasons, and that was it. And that's all she wrote. And then Larry Bird, you haven't heard from him in years. He is off the grid. So we'll see who ends up gets that job. A bunch of rumors, and they'll figure it out. Bill self-denying that he's made a decision on whether he's going to retire. Now, you got to make it soon. The transfer portal opens up April 7th. So we're just under 2 weeks away from that. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Hey, I'm Josh Spiegel, host of the podcast Lunatic in the Newsroom. If you enjoy journalism that drifts into mild panic, wild overthinking, and a guaranteed nervous breakdown, Lunatic in the Newsroom is for you. It's news like you've never heard before. The only newsroom with a panic button. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and gasp in horror as the show spirals completely out of control. It's not just news, it's emotionally unstable. Lunatic in the Newsroom. Listen today.
You deserve to feel better today. At Harper Clinic, patients report sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger because mental health care is more than emotions. It's about your whole body. work to lower your blood pressure, even boost your immune system. Get help to manage stress, focus, and reconnect. If you're facing anxiety, depression, or just feeling stuck, call Harper Clinic, 801-306-2345, 801-306-2345 to start feeling better.
Hashtag NFL.
Seattle, they're going to raise the banner. Their first game is Wednesday, September 9th between the... Oh, wait a second here. Wait. They'll celebrate their Super Bowl and raise the banner on Wednesday as the game between the Niners and the Rams is set to be played in Melbourne. I assume you mean Seattle.
No. So Seattle will open on Wednesday night. The Rams and the Niners are playing in Australia. They'll be playing on Thursday. So they moved up the game for Seattle a day because of that game down there in Melbourne.
Oh, so they always used to, they would open on Thursday. Now they're going to open a day earlier to accommodate the TV opportunity for the game in Australia.
Wednesday game.
Which would actually be Friday in Australia.
Yeah, it's going to be Friday morning at 10:30 is when those teams play. It'll be aired here at 6:30 Thursday evening.
Friday morning at 10:30 in Australia time?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Just to get it in prime time here in the U.S.
Yeah.
I bet those players are pumped about that. 10:30 in the morning game.
Yeah. I don't know, a lot of them in college, depending on what do they start. Well, I guess a lot of them start noon.
Well,
that's
for
the
them, they start noon
Fox.
because they all play back east.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So a lot of them are used to that. So that's a little, well, that's really funky. I was confused on that, but now as you say that, that makes sense there on Wednesday. Do we know who they're playing? That hasn't come out?
We don't know on Seattle. No, they will announce that, they said, with the full season schedule being revealed in the next
And are they going to play this year on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving? They were talking about that. Has that been decided?
It has not been decided.
Oh, okay. Because then we'd end up with 2 Wednesday games.
Correct. They've talked about that.
As the NFL keeps growing in its power.
It's a day that ends in Y, so the NFL's all over.
Right, yeah. Who's going to argue with an NFL game, right? Especially when you got really good teams. And you got out here teams that are, on our side of the country that certainly we follow a little bit more. And this is a story that has got to get a little bit better. A woman in L.A. has filed a civil lawsuit against Puka Nikola, alleging that the Rams receiver said an unprovoked anti-Semitic statement and later bit her on the shoulder. Oh, brother. And that happened.
He's had a good year.
New Year's Eve in Century City, as I guess his lawyers denied the allegations. And the video evidence underscores the other person's behavior. I don't know. I think that Puka's got an enormous talent. And just be careful.
He seems to just stay away from controversial things. Seems to never be involved in these sorts of things. So this one really surprised me.
I think you're using sarcasm there, if I'm catching on.
My question here, though, is she said an unprovoked anti-Semitic statement.
I have no idea what
Is there a difference between unprovoked and provoked? You know what? It's okay. You provoked it.
I don't know.
She provoked me.
I have no idea what that means, what that is about, and provocation makes it more acceptable. I have no idea what the point is.
I think anti-Semitic is anti-Semitic irregardless.
I would agree. So away you go on that. Puka, just make sure you keep yourself as clean as possible, man, because you're a heck of a player and you got a life to live. So away you go there. All right, now let's get on to God's sport. I'll just call it that.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Here's pitch for Webb. Swung on, drive to the gap in right center field. That's going to get down. Everybody's running. Here comes McMahon. Wells flying around third. Grisham to second, thinking about third. Here's the throw to third. He dives head first. He's in there with a triple. 2-run triple. And the Yankees have a 5-0 lead here at San Francisco. Pitch. Swung on, line drive center field. Bellinger will score. Moving to second is Rice, and Giancarlo Stanton just hit a rocket shot to Bader in center field to make it a 6-0 Yankee lead here in the 5th inning. That's his second hit tonight.
Yeah, that's a second hit tonight. Giancarlo Stanton, who went by Mike when he was younger. The MLB season is open, And the Yankees shut out the Giants 7-zip. Fried hurls a gem. Grissom with a 2-run triple. I think Judge struck out 4 times, didn't he? Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yeah.
4 Ks, and they still won 7-0.
Yeah, how about that? Now, today is the bigger, I guess, opening day. 11 games on the schedule. Opening day, Riley, baseball. Yeah.
Give it all to me.
Baseball. That's why we have football. That's why we have basketball. That's why we have soccer. Because those guys can't play baseball. Go ahead. Try to refute that statement.
I don't want to fight with you. It's early.
You played both in high school.
I did.
Which was harder?
I wasn't very good at baseball, so I was bang average. Bang average in baseball.
It's harder to play baseball than it is the other sports.
It depends on what you call hard. Yes, like hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything else, easiest sport around.
Not even
Stand in the outfield. My feet hurt because my cleats were bothering me.
Then you should have got ones that actually fit your big fat feet.
Not because I was like exhausted.
Yeah.
Because those old Nike cleats in 1990, after you stood on them for a while, they started to dig into your feet like poles.
So if you're not on the video right now, I'm holding up, I'll be a left-handed batter, I'm holding up a phantom bat, right? Good. And I got my right wrist clenched and my left wrist above it. I'm pretending I'm to be a left-handed batter. The hardest thing to do in sport is like maybe a foot. It is from here, the batting stance, to here, to hit that ball.
You're just telling me hand-eye coordination again.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of other sports that involve physical difficulty, that involve hand-eye coordination.
It is.
You're just talking about hand-eye coordination. You're not talking about
a sport in which you do not succeed 7 out of 10 and you end up in the Hall of Fame.
Softball.
I knew I shouldn't have opened the door this morning.
You're just talking about hand-eye coordination. You're not talking about athleticism.
Oh, you're not talking about athleticism. Get out of town.
Come on, man.
Did you watch the World Series, those plays that those guys were making?
Just show me a picture of Prince Fielder and John Kruk and tell me that it's the most difficult sport in any sport ever.
Show me a picture of any offensive lineman and tell me it's the most difficult sport.
I didn't
you
say
just got to be big and fat.
I didn't say football.
If you're big and fat, you got a shot to be an offensive lineman.
I didn't argue that football was.
I didn't say you did. I did.
I'm just telling you, Major League Baseball is not the toughest sport. Did you ever see
an NBA player throw out the first pitch? Oh, my gosh. It's embarrassing. They might as well move up to where the dirt starts in front of the home plate. That's the only chance they have to get the ball there on a fly.
Have you ever seen a baseball player, a football player, or a basketball player try and play tennis?
No, they don't have time for that.
Oh, okay. Well, tennis, if you really want to throw it together, tennis is the most difficult sport.
I think pickleball is.
Pickleball is not a sport.
It's
a hobby.
It's absolutely a sport.
It's not a sport.
God, I've seen pickleball.
That's like saying wiffle ball golf is a sport.
I've seen pickleball on
wiffle
ESPN.
Wiffle ball golf is not a sport.
Quit yelling.
You've been yelling all morning.
11 games on the schedule. I'm going to watch every single one of them today, so don't bother me. You asked me if I'm going golfing? No. It's opening day in MLB.
I thought that was God's sport. I mean, which one is it?
Baseball.
You told me it was golf yesterday. I mean, I can't keep up with you.
Speaking of golf, let's move on.
Crazy making.
Hashtag golf.
The tour's in Houston this week. Scotty Scheffler. Oh, boy. He's going to have to share the love. It was all about his son before. Now he's going to have 2 kids. That's so hard to do. Did you have a hard time when you had your second kid to be able to, you just loved that first kid and it was the best thing ever? Well, then you got the second kid. What do you do there? How do you divide that love?
Your heart gets bigger.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, not yours.
No, you've got to have a heart. I understand. So, I mean, he
just
talked
grows
about
bigger. That's what happens.
Okay, there you go. Fishburne and Finau are in the field.
How about Fishburne? Like, playing good golf, dude. This guy's a good player.
He is. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think he made it to the torch, though. He was like 31.
I have a feeling you know him. Yeah, there you go.
There's some good players. Some good players from the state of Utah.
I've seen him play. Went to BYU, all that stuff, and Finau doing his thing. We'll follow that as we start to draw ever closer to the Masters. Should we
also shout out Kihei Akina winning his second straight medalist honors for BYU men's golf? He could be the next big star pro coming out of the state.
He's just a freshman, right?
Yeah, but he already made a cut on the PGA Tour.
Can you say his name again, just so I can know who he is?
You know who he is.
No, say it again.
Kihei Akina.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I've seen him play. He played down at the Black Desert.
Black Desert Resort Open.
Yeah. And did he? The first time he missed it by one stroke,
he
right?
Missed it by, he had a birdie putt he missed and would have made it had he made it.
Now, I've known about this kid since he was probably at least a sophomore in high school. Talked to his coach at Lone Peak and all that stuff. Yeah. And he went to BYU, or he's going to BYU.
He's there right now, yeah.
He was undecided, and then I heard a certain owner and a certain executive from the Jazz went out and played golf with him, and he's going to BYU. Yeah, good for him.
Had some influence,
Yeah, good for him. All right, let's move on to hockey.
#NHL.
All right, Mammoth back in action tonight against the Washington Capitals as they continue their drive to clinch, hopefully for them, that first wild card spot. And we've got the game starting at 7 p.m. and coverage on KSL Sports Zone with Hockey Night in Utah will begin at 6 p.m. See what they can do, get back on the winning track as they lost to Edmonton about 48 hours ago, or at least 48 when it comes time for the game tonight. The Mammoth signed U of Mass goalkeeper Harbaugh. How do you say his name?
Michael Harbaugh, yeah.
Yeah, an entry-level contract, and he will join the Roadrunners. That's in Tucson. Let's see. We'll see how good he can be, right? We'll follow his progression along the way and see what they end up doing. And they got a lot of young guys we have to follow, too, as they make their way up. A lot of options for this team to continue to get better and see if they get their 38th win tonight and capture the points and move closer to clinching that playoff berth. I'm really looking forward to playoffs here. They better not let me down now, and I don't think they will. I think they'll be in the postseason, and that'll be a lot of fun for all of us to follow. Okay, What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. We'll talk hockey with Jay Stevens in about a half hour. We got the question of the day. Riley Jensen, mental health performance coach, joining us. We'll get into some of that from that aspect of it. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.